Parents are asking me all the time, what am I supposed to put in my child's IEP goals? Here's the deal. As a special education parent, it's not your job to write the IEP goals, but you do have a key part in planning those IEP goals. Welcome to the Special Education Inner Circle podcast. I'm your host, Catherine Witcher, and I've been writing IEP goals for over 25 years. I'm a special needs sibling. I'm a former classroom special education teacher. And for the last 25 years, I've been working for you, parents, teachers, admins, therapists. And of course, we're always talking about IEP goals and what should go into them. So today I want to give a really quick tip for all parents who are listening. And if you are a teacher, this is a great strategy for you to remember to use with parents, because they are stressing out about how are they supposed to know what's right, or how are they supposed to tell the team what's supposed to go on the IEP goals. But I want us to remember that IEP goals are never all inclusive of everything that a child's going to learn. So I ask parents to step back and think about their role as an expert at the IEP table. They absolutely know what their hopes, their dreams, and their wishes are for their child when it comes to the bigger picture, the future of what does being in the community look like. I wish my child wouldn't melt down. What does it look like when it comes to meaningful employment? What does it look like for independent living and maybe where they're living or who they're living with? These are all things that you're worried about as a special needs parent, and I totally get that. And we can transform those worries into action steps inside of IEP goals, but you don't have to write the goal. Let's leave the goal writing to the teachers. And teachers, I want you to encourage parents that you got this, you can do this, but you do need their guidance. So something that I love to share with parents is kind of a 3-step process. And it is, first, we write down everything that we're confident the child knows. Now, in our teacher world, we call this present levels of performance. There's data, there's assessments, there's all of those things. But parents, I want you to just write down all of the things that you're like, yes, my child knows this. Feel good about that. Really set that present level of performance for you as a parent of all the things that they're doing that are big milestones. And by big milestones, I mean they're asking for their snack, or they're being independent when it comes to bedtime routine, or they're reading a book for leisure, or they're playing a new game that requires some advanced strategy on their iPad. There's all different things that can be great starting points of my child knows this. Then the next thing is, this is stressing my child out. You know better than anyone what is stressing your child out. I want you to write those things down. Is it stressing them out that there are noises in the house from their siblings? Is it stressing them out that there's homework that has to be done after a long school day? What is stressing your child out? Make a list. We can't help those things if we don't know what's going on, and you don't have to carry all of that by yourself. Make the list of the things that's stressing your child out, and then make a list of the things, the top 5 things that you're just like, oh, I know my child's going to need this in the future, and I really want them working on it. Remember, it's not all inclusive of all the things. It's not picking the exact right goal for this year. Sometimes we have to wait a little while to get to a goal because we have to do some pre-teaching or some skills that are needed to build that foundation. That's okay. That's where we lean on the teacher. So it's a 3-step process. After you create your parent input statement, which is the big vision of what you see for your child, and we've covered that in other episodes, and I cover it all the time inside of the Special Education Inner Circle membership. So for those of you that don't know, this is the Special Education Inner Circle podcast. But if you want to continue the conversation and have this advanced support in creating things like IEP goals and have this community and get access to the experts that are here on the podcast, you have to become a Special Education Insider. That's a membership. You'll find the link in the show notes here. So you figure out what you're going to put down this year for your parent input statement. And then you take this 3-step process. You write down everything you're confident that your child knows. Then you write down the things that are stressing your child out. And you write down your top 3 to 5 concerns if I know my child needs this. And those are great starting conversations so the team feels really confident in how to meet your child's unique needs, how to help your child become prepared for further education, employment, and independent living. And it also creates you as an equal member of the IEP team. You want to have this conversation in writing. You want to make sure there's emails. You can have a conference on the phone and then recap it. You can hop on a Zoom, whatever you do, however your team can communicate. And by team, I mean, like, you can have this conversation with the teacher, then you could have a separate one with the speech therapist. You could have a separate one with the OT, because they're all developing their own goals. Or maybe you're just going to send one letter that explains it all, like, hey, this is the big parent input statement. Remember, I said we've taught that in other places. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, I promise, go scroll through or just send me a DM so you can figure out how to write an amazing parent input statement. Here's what I'm confident my child has achieved. Here's what's stressing them out, and here's what they need. Where do we go from here? When a child has a deficit, a teacher has a million different ways that they can choose to approach that. But if you as a parent are confident in these steps that I'm sharing with you, of like, hey, this is who my child is, you're going to help the team really get focused on how to close a gap in a meaningful way that's going to make a difference, not just inside of school, but in your home and also out in the community. If you have any questions about that, remember, you have contact links right here. If you're listening on the podcast, I would love for you to go leave a 5-star review. Every time you leave a review, more parents and teachers can find the podcast. That's how it works. If you're watching this on YouTube or on Facebook, leave a comment. Every time there's a review, every time there's a comment, it just takes a few seconds. It helps more teachers and more parents get the information they need to help build better IEPs that work in the real world. I'll talk to you guys next time.